guys need to get the ropivacaine for her.
Honey, what happened to you today?
My heart was.
Your heart was where? Well, how's your pain now?
My pain is,
I mean, when you sit still like this, is pretty okay.
yeah.
But if you lay
When
down,
I try to lay down, I feel like I'm getting suffocated. Like there's a lot of pressure in my chest.
a lot of pain.
I got all this shit here like hooked up on me. And
You had even more stuff hooked up on you before.
yeah, they took a lot of it off.
Hi everyone. So for those who don't know, we've gone through quite a health scare recently. Or I should say you have.
Yeah.
And hundreds of people who are really good friends of ours and so awesome, you know, they've reached out and wanted to know what happened. I think we've told the story like 100 times by now, maybe more.
Yeah, it's nice because it shows up, you know, people care that much. But,
Yeah.
it's also exhausting.
Yeah. But so we felt like, you know, why not just do this, put a video out and just talk it through in general, because we've noticed it's helped us to talk about it.
Yeah.
It was pretty traumatic.
Yeah, set the record straight, get some details out there, you know, for
Yeah.
some people.
The main reason for why we're doing this video is because it has to do with the heart, and we realized some things and learned some things about the heart that we didn't know about. You know, things that can happen at our age. I mean, I'm 30, he's 31.
Almost 32,
Yeah.
but I'm still really young. So.
Let's make that very
Yeah.
clear. Things that happens with the heart sometimes that has nothing to do with diet or in general, like genetics, stuff like that. It just happens, and the symptoms and what you need to look out for. That's why we're doing this video today, and hope you're watching.
So should I just start my story?
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, you're the main,
All right.
the main character in this old tale.
In this bit. Okay, so it started about 2 weeks ago on a Friday. I thought it was a
Wait, can you start that again so you don't make weird noises?
my nervous
Yeah.
drumming. Okay, so it started. So it started about 2 weeks ago on a Friday night, leaving work, and I was walking to my car from the parking lot, and I thought it was a muscle strain, like in my back, like right here, but kind of closer to the middle area, and so yeah, I kind of just sat on it for 2 days, and I was basically bedridden for 2 days. I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe. The breathing got a lot worse.
It was even 3.5 days.
Yeah, so I thought it was a muscle strain. I started taking muscle relaxers that I had from a previous injury, which is also not that weird to me, that I thought it was just another injury. So I took the muscle relaxers. Little did I know it was a heart condition, so it was making it a lot worse. Yeah.
It got to the point that he was asleep all the time.
And
like
I
the
just-
whole weekend.
yeah.
You slept like, I don't know, 10 hours, and then he would wake up just for a small break, maybe eat something, and then he would go straight back to bed.
Yeah, like I wasn't even me. I was completely out of
Yeah.
it.
And you were sitting up sleeping even.
Yeah, because it hurt too much to lay down, and I couldn't breathe, and I started losing my vision and almost blacking out. So at this point, 2 days goes by, and you know, I'm not a fan of, you know, going to the doctor for every little thing, you know. But so I went to urgent care to assess a COVID test, and
Because we figured like shortness of breath, and on the third day you woke up feeling kind of under the weather. I had a kind of a sore throat, so I was like, maybe he got COVID, but like worse than
Yeah.
me or something.
yeah, so I wanted to get a COVID test, and it came up negative. So then I kind of freaked out a little bit more. I was like, okay, if it's not that, then what the hell is it, you know? And so yeah, they said go to the ER. That's probably your best bet. You'll get more answers there. So we go there. There's a ton of people there, sitting
As
outside.
always in the ER.
Yeah,
like,
sitting outside in, like, you know, lawn chairs, and I'm like, I started like freaking out, you know. It's like, oh my god, like they can't do this. So we go inside. It's even more crowded. Nowhere to sit even, which was, God.
Yeah.
So we get to the little electric kiosk, and we fill out our information. And one of the first questions asked, are you having any chest pain? So we did
Or
that.
shortness of breath.
Yeah,
stuff
or
like
shortness of
that.
breath.
Yeah.
And so I filled that out, and then I sat down. Didn't really even have time to sit down, and they had called me up there, and
I think that's because any shortness of breath, they don't want it to be COVID, and someone has COVID sitting in the waiting room and
Yeah.
you know, exposing everybody to it, but also of course in case it is something really serious.
Right. So I got in there. They gave me an immediate EKG test to check my heart and everything, and they printed it out. And immediately they were like, "Okay, so what you're experiencing right now is you're having a heart attack, and you need to relax." And one
Yeah,
lady,
relax.
Yeah,
Relax.
yeah.
You're having a heart attack, but just breathe.
not even 32 years old, and you want me to relax.
Yeah.
And this one lady said, "Okay, things are going to be starting to move very fast for you. Just giving you a heads up and a warning." And then the alarms start going off at Good Samaritan Hospital, and
They're calling out that someone has a heart condition and like
possible heart attack.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they need to get to this specific, you know, room, and you know, at this point we're just out of body, you know, looking down at ourselves, like shaking and sweating because we're so nervous. And I could just see in his eyes, he just looked straight ahead, like, I'm dying. This is it. Like, this is how I'm gonna go out. You know, this is it. Like, what do I do? How do I even react? How do I respond? What do I say? Like, we just didn't even say much. We just kind of went with whatever the nurses told us to do.
Yeah, it was insane. And they had me in there for like half an hour before they had come back with any other information.
Well, it was sooner than that, but I think it feels like half an hour.
God, fuck, I swear it was like 30 minutes, but
I know. I was thinking it was maybe 15 minutes.
basically there's no duration of time when you're being told something like
Yeah,
that. I
it
don't
felt
know.
like
It could have been
forever.
5 seconds, but
They brought you to another room with like 10 nurses and doctors coming in with like 4 different machines, I think it was.
yeah, they're taking my clothes off. They're, you know, poking me with needles, assessing IVs. They're putting tubes around me. They're putting all these heart sticky monitor chest thingies on me, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I just remember sitting there, and I was just like, please don't mess up my tattoo when you slice me open. Like, okay,
Yeah,
please.
I mean, we didn't know.
I
Like,
was like,
I tried to think back to like medical shows. Like, I know they can treat heart attacks with, you know, medications and stuff, but you don't know. I mean, they acted like this was bad, and like because he was already in pain and couldn't breathe, right? Like, you went into full-blown panic attack, which makes it so much harder to breathe, and he was even in more pain.
yeah.
And I could see that on him, so I'm like trying to like show him like, I'm here, like just look at me, but he kept looking away. And you know, these really sweet nurses came to talk to me, and like they're very like good at, you know, calming me down. Like, I wasn't calm at all, but they made me feel very reassured that things were gonna be okay. And then I got to the point where I heard the doctor say to himself, like he was talking to himself, saying, maybe this could be it. Like, he said some word, and I didn't know what it was.
Pericarditis.
Yeah, now we know.
Yeah.
And he was like talking to himself, kind of like, you know, all chipper in his mood a little bit. Like, he was starting to calm down, and I was like, should I bother him? I don't know if I should say something because he's in the middle of an emergency here treating my husband. But I was like, is that hard to treat? Or I was like, I have to ask. I cannot hold this in. He was like, well, it's certainly a lot easier than treating a heart attack. And he laughed. And I was like, okay, the doctor's laughing. Okay, I can breathe now, like a little bit better, but you still thought you were having a heart attack. And so when the nurses kind of cleared out for just a moment, I snuck in there, even though I was like, I didn't want to be in their way. But I remember telling you, hey, it could be just a heart inflammation, is what they're saying now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you even heard me or took that information in. I think at that point you were in full-blown shock.
The information of the inflammation.
Yeah. We ended up being in the ER for 12 hours because they didn't have any rooms upstairs at the
Before
heart
they actually
unit.
gave me my own room.
And we had to spend that, what was it, 8 hours listening to that woman shouting and screaming. We finally, after like several hours, got a little worried. We're like, is this, I mean, we thought this woman was in pain, like really bad. She screamed the whole time until finally the nurses had to like calm us down a little bit.
I thought it was a little kid at first.
Yeah, we didn't know. Then they finally told us it was like a 60-pound old lady, and they were like, she's fine, but you would not want to meet her at like a street fight. Like, she's feisty. So I don't know if she had maybe dementia or something, but yeah, that was nonstop screaming. And oh yeah, didn't you also tell the nurse that you were born? We went to Good Samaritan Hospital.
Oh, which I was born in.
Yeah.
And they said I was born here, and I'm not quite ready to die here
Yeah.
yet.
Is that during like the emergency that you told her that?
Yeah, it was like still early in assessment. Yeah.
You're like, hey, just a heads up, I really don't want to die today.
I was like, you could fix me,
Excuse
right?
me. Hi, honey. How are you feeling?
A little bit better.
Yeah. You got a new bed.
I did.
Your feet were like falling off the last one.
I know. They gave me chips.
Yeah, we actually got some nice food. They've been good at giving us from the, what was it, the EMT
They
stash?
stole it from the EMT.
We've gotten stashed like food now twice.
Closed in the hospital.
Yeah, we keep getting EMT snacks.
So now we're gonna watch Toy Story before they come in and have to draw more blood.
And give you more pain meds. It's like probably midnight now, I think. And they're gonna give you more at like 2:30 and 3.
Yeah.
You got a tiny nap going. That was good. I was glad you get to sleep. I haven't slept at all. We've been here for almost 12 hours soon.
Yeah.
And here's my little setup. They have this tiny couch. We got to change rooms in the ER. First we were in this tiny little room with one chair, and I was gonna go home. But then you never ended up getting a regular room, which would have meant that I had to be sent home because they don't allow visitors after 6 p.m. But now we're in this new room, so we're still in the ER. I got this tiny little couch. It's so little. Do you want to show how little it would be if I would actually lay down on it?
Okay. Okay. Hold it.
I got a pillow. And I'm just sitting here watching a movie. And I'm like, I don't want to leave him, so I absolutely have to.
Looks cozy.
I'll sleep here.
God.
It's not bad. It looks worse than what it is.
You look like a little sausage.
Yeah, I cannot get super comfortable.
It sucks.
What? I want to be here for you, so.
Things you do for love.
Yeah. It's 2:10 a.m. in the middle of the night, and I'm being sent home. I fell asleep for, I felt like 1 minute. I was woken up by a guy who came in and said that Nick has finally gotten a real room. So outside of the emergency room. My eyes have been so red the whole night because I've just been exhausted, and now I'm cold, tired. Well, we woke up in a good mood because they said that the only problem they had, like that they were worried about, was your troponin levels, and we should explain what troponin levels is.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
So from what I understand it, when your heart gets damaged, like you have a heart attack or there's something going on, like an inflammation, whatever, like
It's when your enzymes drop down.
they leak into your blood.
Yeah, and then basically that's indicating that the heart is dying.
Yeah, it's damaged.
Yeah.
And so they say like your levels should preferably be between 0 and 0.5, and his was at 1. So they were like,
It's an abnormality, basically.
yeah. But they were like, you have an inflammation, we're not too worried, like it's probably gonna go down. So we're in a good mood at this point because
Yeah.
you feel better.
I had, the pain wasn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think they had me on anything at that point.
No, you did. From the beginning, you got blood thinners and antibiotics.
No, I mean like as far as like leveling out the pain, like it wasn't.
Oh yeah, no, that was just the first day in the ER that you got pain medication.
I was just like feeling a lot more hopeful at this point. Like
Yeah.
the pain in my mind had gone down, but I think the pain was still there, and I'll get to that. But
I think that was mostly because you were resting too. You were just in the bed the whole time, didn't do anything.
I was ready to get the
strenuous.
hell out of there, basically. And,
Yeah, we
and,
had
and
friends and family coming over to visit. That got us in a better mood.
Yeah.
And Nicholas.
No. Yeah, it was.
All right, sorry, we had to move indoors because our neighbor was in his yard, and it got really awkward sitting there shouting.
I don't want to hear my stories. Shit. I don't want to hear my stories. Only you guys. You guys are the important viewers. Shit. I was feeling pretty hopeful. And then a couple hours goes by, and a nurse comes in, and she's like, "Hi, sorry, don't mean to bother you, but like, there's something about like your troponin levels or whatever, but like they kind of like went up to like 5, and I'm just like
5.3.
Yeah, and I was like, 5? Like, they're supposed to be at 0 for me to get out of here and be healthy. So,
And she's like,
5?
Oh. And she's like, oh, I guess I should not have told you about this until the doctor could come in and like tell you guys like the rest. Like, 'cause I don't really know how this works. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, they might do like a procedure or something. Like,
Sorry, don't kill me.
Yeah, like, okay, well, you guys enjoy your day. Okay, bye. Like,
I'm like, what the fuck?
and we were terrified.
Yeah.
We were like, that's so bad.
She had a couple of screws loose or something, let me tell you.
I mean, seriously, it's like social skills as a nurse, you kind of need to have them, and that was not.
Like, no
perfect.
sympathy at all. And I'm like, I didn't even want to look at her. And she's just still lingering.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, sorry. Like, please forgive me. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
Because she could see we were freaking out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so she said that the doctor was going to come in. He might want to do a procedure where they went in through, like, next, what's it called, artery vein or just artery? I don't know.
Yeah, through my blood vessel, basically.
Yeah, and she said they're going to go in, look at the heart, spray some ink, and just see how it looks like. And if it doesn't work, they'll go in through the groin, which sounds awful. And so she kind of just left us with that random information, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And so for the next 3 hours, you know, I mean, we were told during that time that they were going to do the procedure for sure, but for 3 hours we basically just sat there, total panic.
I heard about this procedure, was not a fan of it at all,
No.
and definitely not a fan of me having to get it.
No, I mean,
So-
we didn't know how the experience was going to be because, like, you know, of course they say, oh, you're going to be awake, but you won't feel anything. Of course they're going to say that, but in reality, we all know that that's not something you just don't feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were also worried about the results.
Yeah, so anyways, they wheeled me down there, and I got there on the, you know, to the gurney, and it was like underground, the hospital, and
You were basically in the basement.
yeah, and it was like, it looked like a car shop down there. There was like Double Vision by Foreigner playing on the stereo, and I'm like, what
going on?
is this? And then I said something like, hey, you're not gonna like stick me in a freezer, are you? You know, like
You said that?
Yeah, like it looks so weird and creepy down there. And then I said my wife has my wallet, like I'm not a donor. Like, go look at my ID. There's not a sticker on there. And I don't know. I was just kind of like flipping out, but I was trying to like crack jokes and just be chill about it. But yeah, I was shitting bricks like the whole time. Like I don't like any of that kind of stuff at all. Even getting my blood drawn, I'm just like, you know, like I can get through it, but it's like I just don't like the procedure of it, the process, you know, why is my blood leaving my body? Like
Yeah, that's not natural.
Put it back, you know. So they tell me that I have to be completely naked, and I'm like, what? Is anybody gonna cover this thing up? You know, like, what's going on? They're like, no, like in case we can't get through your wrist, we're gonna have to go through your groin. And I was like,
Oh, you visually just
you know,
because they had to disinfect the area, so they had to leave it uncovered, so that
yeah.
just in case.
So they sprayed this cold numbing stuff on just like the entry point here, and they also sprayed that stuff.
Downstairs.
Down
Down south.
And as if things couldn't get any worse for me, I looked up and I saw a bunch of people inside behind this glass window pane, like with like clipboards, and I'm like, oh god, like
Students.
all these people are looking at me, and
I mean, that's what they do with medical students. They let you, but like you could have gotten a heads up, like some comforting words,
Yeah.
some like this is where I get like mad about this procedure, is that no one really talked you through it. Like, you were there alone. I wasn't allowed in. Like, they didn't do much to comfort you. They were just, I don't know.
that's why I was just like, are you gonna stick me in a freezer? Like I felt like anything was possible at this point. Like great, like no one can hear my screams from down here. Like, I'm never gonna see my friends and family ever again. Like, I don't know. It was just a weird vibe. It's all silly, really. Like, you know, like.
Not really, though. I mean, it was a really bizarre experience.
It's just weird when you're that vulnerable, you know. Like, you start thinking weird, dark, shitty thoughts. Like, it's like you just go, your mind goes there. Like, you're so far from your comfort. You're so vulnerable that you really believe in that moment that shit is gonna happen to you like that. Like, and there were risks of this little procedure, you know, that they had done to me, like that I could get a blood clot, I could die, and he's telling me this shit while I'm strapped down with both arms in these harness things, butt ass fucking naked, you know. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, you could die. Like, just giving you a heads up." And I'm just like,
right before
cool.
he does it, like you had already signed the agreement.
And they rushed me through that though. Like, they wouldn't even let me read the whole thing. Like,
Yeah,
they were just like, "Oh, no, well, you sign here," and then I would like hesitate. And then kind of like scan through it and see what see what the hell I'm about to sign. And they're like, okay, all right, and sign this one. And I'm just like, oh, so much for the fucking contract, like, you know.
That's
like,
the thing. Like at Good Samaritan Hospital, like I was admitted there too, and most of the nurses and the staff are wonderful. Like we should, we should explain. Like they really are really nice. But I had some bad experiences too, and some people are just not meant social-wise, you know, to work within this field. And I think you had way too many of those people in that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's hard to draw that line, like, because you have to, you know, going into a field like that, you have to, like, you know, it becomes kind of like a normalcy to you, like, to deal with that shit every day.
Yeah.
But then you have to remember that the people that you're working with, it's not normal to them. Like, they're scared out of their fucking mind. Like, you have to be a little more, you always have to be sympathetic, like, to the people that are going in there because they're afraid. Like, it's your job. You do it every day.
So do you want to just, like, explain the procedure and how it felt and what happened?
Yes. So they started sticking this like little cat. You can still see my arm is very bruised and green looking.
Yeah.
It's awful and it's really sore. But they go through your vein here. I'm starting to see. You can't see it. That little
it's kind of healed a lot, but it was
dot right there.
Small, yeah.
And they stick this like tube, like it's like an oxygen tube, like that you put over your nose. It's kind of like that, like it's called heart cath. So I guess it's like a catheter that they put in your pee-pee.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it.
Yeah, so I was like, I was really confused about all that. But they basically fed it through my vein all the way to my heart, and it had a camera on it so they can check for any kind of blockage, blood clots, clogged arteries, stuff like that. And they also have a little device in there that sprays this dye that kind of glows up the heart, so they can check for those things that I just listed off. And so I could feel it just feeding all the way to my heart through my arm, and it felt like a damn fire snake. Like, it was crazy. Like, I didn't feel it go in, I just felt a lot of pressure. But then when he started to get away from the topical shit that they sprayed for pain, of course I felt that shit on the inside all the way up, going up my damn thing. Like,
that's why I'm like,
how?
Don't tell him. He's not gonna feel anything if all you're gonna do is just to numb this area.
Yeah.
And like, we talked to people afterwards who also were like heart patients, and they said that they'd been sedated for this procedure, but I think in their case it was probably like they had to do more things than just this procedure. But I'm kind of mad that like we didn't even like get to have a talk about
everything just happened so fast.
Yeah.
And like, they told me in the same day that I was going to get this procedure, so like I just wasn't mentally prepared for any of this at all, even just going into this scary experience. And I understand it's a heart condition, you have to act fast.
Yeah.
And I'm very humble and grateful for that. It's just, what a roller coaster of shit, like, on my brain,
And then the procedure took, I mean, you were gone for like 45 minutes. I know some of that was prep, but like, how long do you think the procedure was?
Maybe half hour.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty long time to
just
go
laying
through
there,
something like that.
Laying there, butt ass fucking naked, strapped. My arms were strapped to this table like this.
I would panic when they did that to me. I'd be like, wait, you have to hold me down for this? I mean, I know you have to stand still, but come on, oh my god. Like, you gotta prepare your patient for that in advance and be like, listen, this might feel a little scary, sound scary, but like, we're gonna just put something here so that you'll stay still. Like, I know you might feel trapped, but don't worry, like, we're not, just calm him and just let him know in advance,
Yeah.
In the meantime, I was in the waiting room in the basement area, which was horrible because then I'd been holding all these emotions in for the past couple of days, and that finally just like broke. It was awful. I was just sitting there by myself in this tiny little waiting room where no one else was, just crying. And I did go upstairs to the level 1 to talk to a friend, and also Nick's mom, to keep her updated and just have someone to talk to, because like at that point I was like, you know what, like it's just such a like helpless feeling of just like knowing he's in there. There's nothing I can do, and I knew he was scared, and there was like nothing I can do to like switch places with him, and he just really didn't want to do it, and so I went up there for a little bit and talked to him, which kind of helped, but then I felt like I might miss him coming out of there if I don't go down. So I had to just go down there and just sit there, and there was no Wi-Fi. That's why I had to go up a level. That's what the worst thing was. Like I couldn't even be on my phone Googling random things or anything to like comfort myself. I just had to sit there in this calm, empty room and just wait. But yeah, after 45 minutes, it was 7 o'clock. You had gone in there at like 6:15, which actually was the time when visitors had to leave the hospital. They had between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. and there was only one visitor at a time, but the nurses had been so nice. They didn't care that we had several visitors at a time. They were really sweet. They're like, no, like this is important for you guys to like have people around. And they let me stay extra long that night because of his procedure. And so it was 7 o'clock and the heart surgeon comes in and talks to me. And he's like, well, good news, like I found nothing. He's on the clear, like no blockage, no nothing. He has a surprisingly healthy heart, like he looks good. Like I think that if his troponin levels go down, he's gonna get to go home the next 1 or 2 days. So I was so relieved, like someone's like, I wanted to like scream and dance.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, thank god. He was so, like he didn't smile or anything, he's just like, yeah, it looks good. I guess he goes home soon. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, I was so happy. And then I ran onto you in the hallway. Yeah, they rolled you up and then such sweet nurses. I mean, I stayed until 9 p.m. because I mean you were so sore and you weren't supposed to move your hands, so I had to like help feed you. And I stayed till 9 p.m. The nurses, I kept apologizing to them and saying like, I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to leave, but like he's still kind of like, you know, recovering from the procedure. They were like, sweetie, don't worry, like stay as long as you want. Like I would not have been surprised if they would have been fine with me just laying down in bed with him and just falling asleep. Like,
Yeah, you
so
really
cool.
were like, I don't know what the hell I would have done, like if I was single, you know, or not, you know, with you, but you know, she was really great. She was the best. I don't want to mess up your hair, but I know you kill me.
I worked really hard.
She'd kill me.
This situation is not over yet, but I'm hoping that this is like the end. Oh, I'm so exhausted. I really hope I don't have any more stories for you guys to tell from this whole thing. I hope from now on it's just like, oh, and he got to go home and, you know, be discharged, and it all ended well.
I talked to one of the doctors, like, I think it was like the second day in that I was at the hospital, and I asked, I said, you know, what would have happened if I would have waited any longer than coming in here, you know, because it's been 2 days since the incident had started, and they said basically like I could have possibly went into cardiac arrest, and I was on thin ice. It was some scary shit.
He said you probably would have collapsed at home because I mean you didn't get enough oxygen, which explains why you were sleeping so much at home.
Yeah, because I was just so lethargic that the heart wasn't doing what it should be doing by pumping your blood, creating oxygen to the oxygen flow to the brain.
Yeah.
And that's why I was just like blacking out and like having no energy whatsoever. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty scary how things really escalated.
You got to go home on day 3 though. We were very excited about that.
Yeah, baby!
And how do you feel right now?
I feel amazing. I'm currently struggling with a few things, but
like what?
So I recently quit smoking after almost 20 years. It's because of this experience, and they said that it wasn't anything. You know, there was no real prognosis about why I got the pericarditis. There's no real answers.
You can get it from a viral infection, from autoimmune disease. They even said that some people have gotten it from the COVID vaccine, which, by the way, we're not saying don't take the COVID vaccine. It's just that they say that's some people.
It's the only thing I could think of recently that has entered my body.
Yeah.
You know, and that got me sick.
Okay, so it's 2 o'clock almost, and I'm gonna go and get Nick. He gets discharged very soon. I don't know exactly when, but I've been cleaning up the room here. I made the bed, I washed the bed sheets, I did the laundry, I cleaned up as much as possible because I just want him to come home to a clean house.
A new fresh start to life, you know? Like I'm gonna watch like some of the foods that I'm eating too. I've been eating a lot of like fried foods lately. And
Fried fruits?
Fried foods.
weeks. We've had like hundreds of people checking in with Nick and seeing if he's okay. And now Tyler asks how he's doing. If he gets to go home. And Nick says, "This is Nick's ghost." You're so funny. You're leaving. You're leaving, baby.
Free man. Oh.
Well, I'm happy to be home.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I missed you.
Oh, hi.
Of course he did. He's your little buddy bear. Oh my god, his eyes right now. Oh my gosh.
I missed you. There was also nothing food related about this heart condition that I have. You know, so I don't have to like watch my sodium levels or cholesterol or anything like that. But saying that, you know, I do want to be more mindful of like, you know, what I put in my body. You know, and
Yeah, why not? I mean, it doesn't hurt to be healthier.
yeah, just, you know.
That's the thing. That's why we wanted to do this video, because it came to a shock to us that you can absolutely have a heart problem at our age that's not diet related, that doesn't have anything to do with drinking or smoking, that isn't genetic. And even the fact that you didn't have any, like, you know how people say with a heart attack, you're supposed to feel it down your arm. I kept asking him for several days, do you feel anything down your arm? He was like, no. But his back hurt, and eventually your shoulders and your neck, which they say is like a sign of this kind of inflammation. So if you do have any sort of pain, it doesn't matter if it's mild or whatever, like it can get worse in this area. Even if it feels like it's in the back, it can absolutely be your heart. So get it looked at.
Yeah, go just get it checked out. It's important. You never know. This thing that's happened to me, like, it's kind of a bittersweet experience. Like it's kind of tying up loose ends that I was worried about, you know, as you know, going into my 30s, like, oh, like, I don't want to be smoking for this long. Like, I want to be able to have children and not be that dad who has to, like, go and, you know, look for a place to smoke while his kid is, like, you know, at the field trip. You know what I mean? Like, that's depressing.
Yeah, we're saving like $100 to $150 per week now. It's amazing. It's crazy.
Yep, and I'm still gonna have fun.
Yeah,
you know?
no, of course. I mean, you still have your karaoke bars and the friends you have, but like, I think it's a great thing that you're giving your body time to heal, and that you're just taking one step at a time. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, good video. I'm sorry it was so long, but I feel like this was an important story to tell. Like, honestly, this is a life-changing thing for us. And
yeah. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate it.
yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you next Saturday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
We will.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
In California? Okay, I'm
Yeah,
learning.
so proud of you.
I'm learning. The Swede is learning.
Bye.